The goal of the Siesta Key Grand Canal Regeneration Project is an ambitious, years-long environmental plan that hopes to reestablish the 9-mile-long Grand Canal as a fish nursery and a sea life aquaculture habitat. That's the goal, but now, how does it work?
We have been looking for a long time, for years, for an opportunity to have a large-scale deployment in an area that needs a lot of help. And the Grand Canal is something that needs help. It's quite large, there's a lot of dock space, so it's something to show what the Mini Reef can do at a scale.
Mini Reefs that you bring up, could you describe them? What are they made of? Plastic is not too terrific when you put it in the water, but why is this different?
They're made out of polypropylene. That's the plastic that you're going to see dock pilings wrapped with at marinas, ports. It's used extensively because it holds up to UV radiation, doesn't get brittle and fall apart. Yeah. It holds up to salt water for about 500 years. It doesn't really shed microplastics for about 75 years, yeah. And it is recyclable.
What happens when you put it in the water?
What it does is it mimics the natural ecosystem you would have under a mangrove tree or in saltwater marsh grasses. But it also gives a place for young life, like just hatched fish, shrimp, and crabs. They can hide in there and they can get a food source like they would naturally in those environments that we've lost due to coastal development.
I imagine that there are no other projects like this in the Sarasota area. Mm-hmm.
But as far as restoring nursery habitat, there's almost nobody on the planet doing that other than people who plant mangrove trees.
When these animals ingest the gunk that's in the water, what happens to that?
Well, it's their food source, so they digest it. They go to the bathroom like everybody else. That in turn is the food source for marine worms, things called amphipods that look kind of like little tiny shrimp. Those are then the food for the baby fish, shrimp, and crabs that are growing up on the unit. And those are food for bigger fish, shrimp, and crabs as we go through the food chain all the way up to dolphins and us and everything else.
One of the objectives of this regeneration project is to take water samples from many locations in the canal. Managing the data collection is David Vizzolo. Analyzing the samples is Armando Obeda, the Florida Sea Agent with the University of Florida Extension and Florida Water Watch, who tells us what the data tells him.
Our excitement has been amazing. It has truly been a neighbor-to-neighbor program. We started out with the idea of putting 10 in for a pilot. When I started the first round, I went to some of the neighborhoods and put in flyers and talked to people at doors. In a week, I had 23 people sign up in 1 week. So I know we can do this, and we need to spread it, though, neighbor to neighbor, so they can see the benefits. And it's an opportunity to bring the neighbors together in a positive way to make changes for our environment.
There's a lot more information about this project. Go to the SiestaKeyAssociation.com website and click on SKA Launches the Grand Canal Regeneration Project.